that's straight and bright. By the light of the Word.
Today on Light of the Word with Pastor Ray.
Even though salvation, even though the Spirit of God dwelling in me still dwells me. My flesh, my ways, my wants, my desires. And so every day I have to decide and remind myself, Ray, every day, that's what's in you. And if the Spirit of God doesn't get the preempt, overruling and overarching authority in your life and power in your life, what's in you will come out.
Open your heart to us, Lord, so we can know your word. We come before you, Jesus. Speak to our hearts as we discover your love for us. How wide, how deep, how far. Pouring to us so we can learn to follow. One surrender at a time. You have made the way for us to know you. A path that's straight and bright. By the light of the Word.
What's most likely to come out of us when we're under pressure, have a lack of sleep, or are even under serious stress? Even if we've been saved and forgiven by Jesus, we aren't exempt from our sinful natures. In today's teaching, Pastor Ray wants us to know that no good thing dwells in us. When we accept this, we're then in a position to give the Spirit overruling control of our lives each day. Let your life be completely surrounded to the Spirit, so that when you're under pressure, only His fruit comes out. Well, let's join Pastor Ray for part 3 of his message on 1 Samuel chapter 20.
Here we are in verse 20, chapter 20. Saul knows who Samuel is referring to. He knows it's David. And he says to his son Jonathan, as long as David lives, you'll never be the king. He must die. Look at Jonathan. So this statement about, to your shame and to the shame of your mother's nakedness, Saul's making this statement. He's saying, you are throwing away your whole destiny. The whole purpose that you were born for, son, is to be king, and you're throwing it away on this shepherd boy. Jonathan don't care about DNA. Matthew 25, it's going to be the millennial kingdom. There's going to be a time God's going to establish his kingdom on earth here, 1,000-year reign, and we will rule and reign with him, we are told. And what you do in the millennial kingdom will be determined by what you do here today. That's how God determines our service in the millennial kingdom. And I don't want to have a whole study on millennial kingdom right now. But this is what Matthew 25 is about. His Lord said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over the few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of the Lord. Jonathan is going to have quite the reign in the millennial kingdom. Because he laid down his DNA, he laid down his right, if you would. He laid down his lineage to be the next king. If he would have killed David, allowed someone else to kill David, he would have been the next king. He could have grabbed his kingdom and his power and glory for this moment. But instead, what we see, Jonathan, I just want the glory of God right now. Not my glory, but God's glory. And I know God's glory is through this man, David. And I will lay down my right so that David can be king, so that Israel and God can be glorified. Can you do that? Can I do that? Where I say, you know what, Lord, I don't care who gets the credit. You know what, Lord, I don't care what role I play in this kingdom now. All I care is that you get the glory and the honor. You son of a perverse, rebellious woman. What this verse tells me is only Saul gets to sit at the table with a spear. because it's obvious that his wife doesn't get to sit at the table with a spear, because there would have been some spear chucking at that Thanksgiving table when Saul would have said, "You son of a perverse woman." These are things you don't say to your wife. Men, little marriage conversation here for a minute. These are things you don't say to your wife, especially at the dinner table. Tim Hawkins, the comedian. Here's things you don't say to your wife. "Where'd you get them shoes? I think they're pretty lame. Would you stop talking because I'm trying to watch the game?" If you're a man who wants to live a long and happy life, these are the things you don't say to your wife. "I planned a hunting trip next week on your birthday. I didn't ask because I knew it'd be okay. Go make some dinner while I watch this fishing show. I taped it over our old wedding video." If you're a man who wants to live a long and happy life, these are the things you don't say to your wife. "Your cooking is okay, but not like mother makes. The diamond in your ring I bought you is a fake. Your eyes look puffy, dear. Are you feeling ill? Happy anniversary. I bought you a treadmill." If you're a man who wants to live a long and happy life, these are things you don't say to your wife. If you're a man who doesn't want to get killed with a knife, these are the things you don't say to your wife. Saul. Verse 32, 34. "And Jonathan answered Saul his father and said to him, 'Why should he be killed? What has he done?' Then Saul cast a spear to kill him, by which Jonathan knew that it was determined by his father to kill David. He tries to kill his own son. So Jonathan arose from the table in fierce anger and ate no food the second day of the month, for he was grieved for David because his father had treated him shamefully. Saul was willing to kill his own son, and when Jonathan brings up the name David, that he should not be killed, therefore he's saying he should be the next king. All that was in Saul comes out and erupts. I call, in my note outline, I call it Mount Saul erupts. I mean, he just erupts and the volcano explodes and the lava is coming, and here he is with the spear and the chuck. It's what was in him. I was humbled on Tuesday. You know, my favorite stories are the stories that start with, "You wouldn't believe what Renee did." Those are my favorite stories. I don't like the ones that start with my name. "You wouldn't believe what Ray did on Tuesday." So I'm working with this contractor. I send all these documents and we go back and forth and we got all these things are going on. And I get an email on Tuesday, "You missed 2 documents." To which I email, "No, I definitely sent those 2 documents in a separate email." They email me back, "No, we asked you for them a week ago and you missed them." I email them back. "I literally emailed it a week ago. Check the email address that I sent it to." They come back, "We did not get it. We do not have it." So now I'm getting kind of agitated. Now I got to go into the, actual phone world and make a phone call and be on hold. And then I says, "What is it exactly? Which 2 documents do you need?" "We need this one and this one." I go, "I know I sent it to you. But listen, I'm going to go redo the document and I'm going to mail it to you to this email address. This one, right?" "Yes." I says, "And I will do it and you'll see it here in the next hour." So we hang up. I'm highly agitated. I got to go find those documents. I got to redo the documents. I got to get the whole scan thing going, all these type of things. It's going to cost me an hour. And I've already done it. I'm highly agitated. I'm just... Now, I didn't blow my witness. Definitely didn't blow my witness. But I definitely didn't leave them in the place that they would hang up and go, man, that guy, he's got a sweet heart. You know what I mean? You just feel the warmth. I wonder where he goes to church. Because you know what? He must sit under some awesome teaching to be able to, go through all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. This is the part of the story that I wrote in my notes that I leave out, that I was fasting too. Ouch. I'm agitated. I go back, sit down, reading through the passage. I sit down. I pick up where I left off, which is verse 32, 33, and 34. And God says, that's you. Ray, that's you. Do you see it, Ray? They didn't produce that. That agitation, that irritability in you. Let's be honest, the anger. So it didn't come out like a volcano, but you're angry. Ray, that's what's in you. This only revealed what's in you. It didn't produce what's in you. It is what is in you. And it's like a sponge. I can see a sponge laying in the kitchen sink, and I can see that it's wet. But there's only one way I'm going to know what's in that sponge, by squeezing it. And I'll find out if that was water or if that was vinegar. But I won't know until I squeeze it. And God just makes the point to me. When you were squeezed, that's what revealed what was in you. And here's what I know. Don't fall for the lie that there is such a thing as sinless perfection on this side of the earth. And I share something with you honestly so that I can tell you honestly. The greatest apostle in the world, Romans 7, he himself would say, verse 18, for I know that in me, that is my flesh, nothing good dwells. For to will is present with me, but how to perform what is good I do not find. Verse 19, for the good that I will do, I do not do, but the evil I will not to do, that I practice. Now if I do what I will not to do, it is no longer I who do it, but the sin that dwells in me. Every day, I have to wake up and know in me dwells no good thing. Every day we have to wake up and go, even though salvation, even though the Spirit of God dwelling in me still dwells me. My flesh, my ways, my wants, my desires. And so every day I have to decide and remind myself, Ray, every day that's what's in you. And if the Spirit of God doesn't get the preempt, overruling and overarching authority in your life and power in your life, what's in you will come out. I can almost thank God that the conversation didn't go over another 2 minutes, because I might have found myself then blowing my witness, because I know what's in me. So how do you recover? How do you recover? Because here I am. I woke up. I had morning devotions. I prayed. I was fasting even. Shame. Embarrassing. But then something stirred me up, and now I'm sitting there, and it's only noon. And I say to myself, all I want to do is just go home and start the day over again. But I still got 10 more hours before I can lay my head down. I got 10 more hours that you could be sure I'm going to deal with more people. I'm going to be put in more situations, and these type of things are going to come up. What can I do? I'll tell you what I do. Take it for what it's worth. But I want to tell you something that I have found so powerful in my life is right there on the moment, Matthew 6, 9 through 13. I literally, a 3-minute prayer, I pray the prayer that the Lord gave us. And there's a danger, and some of you might have been raised in that religious system, that we want to cast out the Lord's Prayer, the Our Father, because we want to say, I came out of a religious dogma system, and we would use that as some type of magical formula, or we'd use it as a punishment as we would go and have confession. But I want to tell you, it's pure power. Because at any given moment, I can take 3 minutes and I can reset my day just like that. Our Father, therefore in this manner pray, Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Right there, instant peace. My God is on the throne. Hallowed, holy, uncommon. He is unlike anything in the world, and I'm his. Your kingdom come, your will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. And right there I go, this is what's important. God's kingdom right now, and me bringing glory to God's kingdom. And I can immediately separate myself from, it doesn't matter what I feel, it doesn't matter what's going on, the kingdom of God and bringing him glory. Give us this day our daily bread, and I can just trust, Lord, you're on the throne, you're going to provide. And forgive us of our trespasses. Oh, Lord, I need forgiveness. I'm sorry, Lord. And an instant cleansing as we forgive our debtors, and I can immediately forgive the other person. Whatever the moment was, whether you're in a business meeting, you're having a conversation in your home, whatever it is, I can go, forgive them. Lord, I forgive them because you've forgiven me. And do not lead us into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. There's an evil one who wants to agitate you and stir you up and disrupt your day. And I need to come to remind, that's right, the evil one's at work, and he's going to continue to be at work. But you know what, Lord? Yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. That's what I do to recover. And one last little group here, and then we'll close out. Verse 35 through 42, and so it was in the morning that Jonathan went out into the field at the time appointed with David, and a little lad was sent him. Then he said to his lad, now run, find the arrows which I shoot. And the lad ran, he shot the arrows beyond him. When the lad had come to the place where the arrow was which Jonathan had shot, Jonathan cried out after the lad and said, is not the arrow beyond you? And Jonathan cried out after the lad, make haste, hurry, do not delay. So Jonathan's lad gathered up the arrow and came back to his master, but the lad did not know anything. Only Jonathan and David knew the matter. Then Jonathan gave his weapons to his lad and said to him, go, carry them to the city. Verse 41, as soon as the lad had gone, David arose from the place towards the south, fell on his face to the ground and bowed down 3 times, and they kissed one another and they wept together. But David more so. Then Jonathan said to David, go in peace, since we have both sworn in the name of the Lord, saying, may the Lord be between you and me, and between your descendants and my descendants forever. So he arose and departed, and Jonathan went into the city. Jonathan and David will never see each other again. David has literally lost it all. This moment. David's lost his wife. David's lost Jonathan. He lost his role in the kingdom and the joy that he had serving the king. He's lost his prophet and pastor, Samuel. David now runs into an exile, and David is crying. Would you cry? We all cry. But David doesn't realize God is doing something great. David thinks the end is near, all is lost, and David runs, and now he feels, I've lost it all. I have nothing. And all the while, he doesn't know, what God is doing. And maybe you're going through a trial, and I just want to close there, and you've been so wonderful in this study as you've been absorbing. And I think of Paul, and I'll paraphrase it. Remember the thorn in the flesh. A messenger buffeting from Satan. This is Paul, the greatest apostle. Great revelation, 14 years of revelation in the back end of the wilderness and in the desert. Writes more books on grace than anybody in the whole New Testament. Gets to see Jesus on the road to Damascus. And you know what he still didn't know? That God's grace was sufficient. You know what he still didn't know even after all that? That God's power is made perfect in weakness. All these things Paul didn't know until one day, a thorn in the flesh, a buffeter of Satan. And David doesn't know this yet. David's going to find it. He's got about 10 years to go before he becomes king. David's going to find something. When you come to a place where all that you have is God, you'll find in that place that he was all that you ever needed. David will find in these 10 years to come, and I'll change and insert Jesus. I lost everything, but I found that I only needed the one thing, and that was Jesus. I'm reminded of this story, and I close with, because it says that they were to meet at the stone, or maybe your translation says Etzel. That stone, that word Etzel, it meant stone that shows the way. David's waiting at the stone for 3 days that will show the way. Where am I supposed to go? What is next in my life? And here comes Jonathan said, here's what's next. It also meant stone of departure, and David will depart into this next season of his life. We have a stone, we have a rock that shows the way. And when we come to this place, all that we have is nothing but Jesus. We'll find that we need nothing but Jesus. I'm reminded of the story, a true story at that, of a man surfing and a storm comes up out of nowhere. A big storm, swells are coming, 12, 15 foot high. He loses his surfboard. He's a mile offshore. There's no way he's going to swim in and make it into the safety in the midst of this storm, but he was able to make himself onto this rock that was sticking out of the point there in California. And he grabbed onto that rock, and as the storm surged and the waves surged, they'd come, they'd lift his body and slam him down on the rock, but he would somehow be able to hold on to that rock, sometimes with two-arm clutch, sometimes with fingers, but he was constantly being able to hold on to that rock, and he would get picked up and slammed down, picked up and slammed down. Finally, the storm subsides, and the man swims to shore. And as he comes to shore, people rush out and says, we've been watching you get beat for the last 30 minutes, picked up and tossed and beaten and upon that rock as the storm raged and the swells overcame you. You were beaten and tossed upon that rock. To which the man answered, truly, yes. But did you notice this one thing? The rock never moved. And our rock will never move. Our rock will always be the solid and sure thing. And maybe you're in the midst of a trial. Maybe you're wondering what's going on. Jesus will say to you, I'm immovable. I'm the sure thing. Cling to me in the midst of the storm, and we will be through this storm. But I want you to see this as the Lord would speak to us. I'm going to show you something, like I showed Paul, that you would never have seen unless a storm came. And we're going to start reading these next 10 chapters of the life of David. What he learns, he would never learn with Saul. He must go into this next place. And what he learns will make him to this place that he is the greatest king.
You have made the way for us to know you, a path that's straight and bright. By the light of the word.
The Word of God is so applicable to the lives of all Christians from the time it was written long into the future. As we continue to study the book of 1 Samuel, we'll learn to listen to God from Samuel and how to love our Creator with all our heart from David. We can even learn from Saul, who failed time and again to follow the one who set him on the throne in the first place. Through each life we see in this book, we're exposed to God's mercy and power, and it will leave us with a choice to make. Will we follow God or try to go on our own way? If you've been exploring what it means to live for your Creator and you're ready to take the next step, we'd like to let you know that we're here to help. We'd love to pray for you, and we'll do our best to answer any questions you have. Please send an email to mail@ccaac.org or give us a call at 443-995-3282. That number again is 443-995-3282. We've also created a page on our website that will give you a better idea of how much meaning life can have when you choose God. Visit ccaac.org and click on the meaning of life to learn more. That website again is ccaac.org. That's all we have time for today. But join us next time right here on Light of the Word, illuminating the heart of God.
You have made